hello, hello. Welcome to Q Simulator. We will be waiting in here for a little while, but it is okay because we are now near the end of 3.3, and after 3.3 there's 3.4 and 3.5. Each expansion pack has 5 major patches during its reign. So you will always have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they normally still add like extra storyline during like 5.55, 5.6, 5.7, but it's still just counted as 3.5. Hope my cat doesn't scratch the door. Sit there as long as all he does is sit. But I'm not too sure that he's intent to just sit there. At least we get the pretty musics. Oh, I like the pretty musics. And now I can check my stream health. Good for me. Okay, a microphone's 100% working. That is a good thing. Stream is 100% online. That is also a good thing. But now we wait for another tank and 2 healers. How to find someone? Interesting question.
Children of the land and service, why must you turn to empty beliefs? Tell me why break trust?
Now it looks like I have wings.
Seeking solace in the abyss.
Now actually let's take a screeny with Nidhogg in the background and me not like... not doing silly shit. Aw, where did the 2 DPS go? I wonder if there's something like /point. Oh! Not pointing it right. There! We pointed right at Nidhogg! Oh, I like that. Now let's just have a regular screeny with him just by our side. There is a more advanced tool for screenshots, which is called G-Pose in this game, so you can like... yeah, there we go.
Children of the land, do you hear?
That's the sub commands.
Echoes of truths that once rang clear.
Yeah. See, we can like repeat an action like this. But you can like also do color filters. And the screen effects.
Memories dimmed by shadowed hearts. In the waxing gloom.
And zoom-ins.
Lover's moon, watching as their worlds drift apart. One soul
Ooh. Oh, good. Good. Hopefully that takes me out of G-pose, because otherwise this might be a bit awkward. But yeah, if you have a very in-depth screenshot tool, so you can make like pretty cool things. If you're all for screenshots and everything. I probably do want some sort of stance at least. I accidentally ran off without my DPS stance. I gotta say, to me, Stormblood's song was nowhere near as impactful as Heavensward's main theme, which is what is currently playing. So I do have a hope that during Shadowbringers we're gonna get a kick-ass theme. Kick-ass theme would most definitely be something I would look forward to. Music in games is incredibly important for me, and I cannot explain that. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, I switch it off, you know. Or it doesn't matter that much, but to me, music is what makes a gaming experience. I'm not as invested into titles that have little sound. Which probably sounds terrible for deaf people. You don't even know what this full experience feels like. Who's tanking what? The one in the middle that's just going around clawing at everyone, you can't really tank him. That being said, if this was the Savage version, I would have already killed all my teammates. Because I just went durr and then tanked it very close to the other one as well. Now we stand over here for phase transition. Some screenies of the phase transition. Because why not? Now we're fighting essentially what sort of weird combination of Estinian and Nidhogg that this is. That is a Dragoon skill, so we're most definitely mostly fighting Nidhogg, I mean Estinian right now. funny bit about the normal mode, people still do die to it. Horribly. Nice and easy. Just well with all his healthy foods. Share this big boom. It repeats, so it's something for the healers to heal through, but if people aren't sharing it, it becomes really hard. Unfortunately, people did that mechanic very badly. Not only did they move early into the corner and therefore block the corner, but then after blocking the corner for themselves, they went out right into the explosion, which did not help their case. In general, do not walk into explosions. Bad idea. It's better if I'm melee DPS when it breaks. They are doing it. Good. I think Bard was trying to make people pay attention to the fact that we have a full limit break. You see, any casters unranged, they have an AoE limit break, so it's good if you have many things, but melees have a melee limit break, which is great if you have one big thing, which is most fights. Okay, do I just run in and rip your arm off now? Cutscene time. I have a feeling that we need to remove them arms, them eyes off ya.
Estinian!
Yes, it is him. What you gonna do? Punch an eye?
Is this to be mine end? Nay, I will not allow it. I am of the first brood. I am vengeance incarnate. I am Nidhogg. Thou shalt die by my hand.
Estinian's fighting back!
This is not your hand, worm!
Obey!
I would ask one last favor of you, Warrior of Light. Finish me, now, while I have the beast subdued!
You are not dying, my bro.
You waste your time. Kill me! It is the only way! Ending Nidhogg will be my final duty!
No! You can't die like this! I won't let you!
Let people's help. Where their spirit lives on. Done by mortal will. Wither now.
Soul's cry, a passion welling within. Sacrifice, a final plea to her king.
The eyes! Cast them into the abyss!
Yet this bond of hope by treachery was broke, scattering her words to the wind.
I hope nobody was standing down there. Else they're just gonna get a fistful of eyeball falling directly on their head. There was a lot of emotion in this story, even in this big segment. There's a lot of emotion in Final Fantasy XIV storyline in
He
general.
lives. Ah, Estinian, my ill-fated friend. Lucia, summon the healers. I want them ready to receive him.
So not chirurgeons, but healers this time.
Allow me to do this much, at least.
You saw like my eyeball back, please. The Horde has sensed the fall of their master and scattered to the winds.
You have my gratitude, Resvelga. Your deeds this day have saved a great many lives.
Then our alliance hath served its purpose. Thou didst wield the power I granted thee well. 'Twas thine own skill and not mine eye which earned the victory. I wish the companion a swift recovery. Fare you well, children of man. Dude, your eye! I wanna return it to you. I don't wanna carry around your eye. I think it's only fair. I'm good without it.
The battle is won. We can do no more for Estinian now than bear him home and wish him well. Even as Hraesvelgr did. The rest we must trust to the hands of the healers and the grace of the gods.
They will probably be like, ew, eye sockets on shoulders. It reminds me of one of the Resident Evil monster people, the one that was like mutating super fast. He had giant eyeballs and like the wrong places on his body. Through the haze of pain, I swear I sensed, but no, the past is done and we must look to the future. At long last, Nidhogg is gone, his foul spirit cast out once and for all. I only pray that Estinian survives the ordeal. Your battle with Nidhogg's shade will behest many an epic ballad, magnanimous, and rightly so. It was without a doubt one of the more epochal victories. Though I must admit that it took greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. And not only for your own sake. Had you not been there to aid me, those internal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yet even with Nidhogg gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia and beg the news of his condition. Is that the healer lady, Lucia? Oh, no, it's the armor lady. Magnanimous, Master Alpinode, my honored friends, as if winning House Vegr to our cause were not enough, you took it upon yourself to rid us of his brood brother. I know not how to thank you. My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. The true saviors of the day were Magnanimous and Estinian. One trumped over Nidhogg's shade through strength of arms, and the other through strength of will. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? The Azure Dragoon was conveyed to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of a hospitaller captain. I am told he has yet to regain consciousness. But as you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. We must be patient and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Sir Emmerich is never long from Estinian's bedside and will send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmunds and his sons are most eager to celebrate your return. Very well, First Commander. Come, Magnanimous, 'twould seem we are awaited at Fortem's Manor. Ah! God damn it! Go away! There we go. Well done. It's ready to send messages! Thing is very annoying when it gets stuck on that screen. So I was like, I hope it's not stuck on that screen, and yes, it was stuck on that screen. Where am I going? Manor is like that way. Whenever my kitty cats are like relaxing and asleep, they look very cute. I'm just looking at the one at the top of the door to make sure that he's not scratching anything. Hello, it is we.
The heroes of the hour return.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
I gave every ounce of my strength, but mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
You continue working on that confidence, kid. I have a feeling that you're gonna need
My
it.
lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
He watched and he watched.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
Aww.
I am most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
Our master Alphino has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
You know what's funny? We save Estinian, but there's plenty of points where he actually repays the favor. He saves us a couple of times in the story. And I just find it very nice, because he's that nice, lonely guy. And you're just like, aww, Estinian, my friend. My friend. If anything, throughout all of the ordeals in the later story, most of the people in the main scenario become good buddies with each other. Are you like the entry point to the infirmary as well? Is the infirmary in your office? Magnanimous, my friend, what can I do for the savior of Ishgard? Do you seek Master Alpinode? Ah, he came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. When he begged to sit at Estinian's side, I could not well refuse him. Though he would sooner faint than admit it, the boy must be exhausted by Harosvegar's trial and all that followed. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. Ooh. Wind up by Amarek! That's cute! My own friendship with Estinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. I learned his name soon enough, but Estinian barely registered my existence. I was less a fellow recruit and more a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained, had fate not seen fit to intervene. While out on the patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, and we were the only two to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, and such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind, revenge for the death of his parents and revenge for his younger brother. I would venture that in Alphinaud he seems something of his lost sibling. And in the ungentle cheatings of Estinian, Alphinaud has found the elder brother he had never had. Truth be told, Estinian's tactless observation has saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alphinaud's affection for him. He's a friend for whom I would gladly... Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. Is he? Tell him I am on my way. Well, he's either dying or he's better. We must go to him. Several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Don't worry, time's aplenty.
Estinian!
Very obviously he's not dead, he's breathing.
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphinaud thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead. Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphinaud. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvelgr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. Yet again, you have achieved the impossible.
It's very weird to see Estinian without his helm. I do really like his hair, and his face is rather pleasant to look upon. But you always imagine him as the Azure Dragoon and not a person.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart. Can you forgive me? There is naught to forgive, Hameric. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty.
I willingly lost an arrow to your heart.
Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses. but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly, its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family. When no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind. Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest.
We should probably leave.
Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
Aw.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
We all nod and nod and nod.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emeric called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. "'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons. Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident. His duty done, Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the Archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords.
People liked him. So they're like, nah, you continue to rule.
Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, The unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept. And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir. Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace. The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an Azure Dragoon for a new age.
And that would be Estinian. Estinian goes traveling after this, and he just appears at a bunch of key moments.
Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten, the din of war giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
You know, for whoever's watching this video later on, there are talks that Final Fantasy's developer is making a new MMO. And there are hints that this one is wrapping up its whole story the best that it can. And honestly, I don't mind. Like, this is happy time for me. Remembering all of this, remembering that whole journey, remembering hundreds of hours that you need to go through to reach here. It feels like if it's a book that will eventually be closed, then it was a good book. And it's the ones that reach their ending through the lack of money and cut of finance that actually sting the most. Not the ones that reach their ending through the true end that has been written. Though I really missed the Count. I liked having a storyteller. This is more or less the true end to Heavensward. The next two patches are the ones that are leading up to Stormblood, and we are still gonna do them. And I am gonna come back to this game after a long break to do Stormblood, and then I'll have another long break, and I will do Shadowbringers as well, but this is the definite end to Heavensward. And just in case I did any more whoopsies, let me check some things. Things have been checked. Don't like it when I do whoopsies when I'm streaming and there's nobody to tell me. I was gazing out the sea of clouds, an all too rare moment of idleness, when I changed to behold a certain hero wending her way towards the city on Dragonback. Welcome home, Anonymous. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought respite from the pressures of the office. No sooner do I surrender my role as temporary head of state than I am burdened with the position of a more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure the way you must feel when your improbable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more improbable challenges. The myth which guided our society for generations lies in tatters, and I then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down? And what strange jest is that places me at its pinnacle? An archbishop's bastard at the head of the House of Lords. Ah, but these questions are for me to answer. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience. It was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuild the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one carefully placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the fundament of our legacy. I hear word from Captain Whitescape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. His willfulness survives undiminished. Should you ever happen upon our unmannerly friend on your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe until he decides to come home. Thank you, Magnanimous, and please convey my warmest regards to Master Alpinode. It is very odd to be looking back at especially this part of the story, because this is where my old static crumbled and where my old free company crumbled. And I hate when those things happen. So from this point on, I went on alone. This was the last patch that I was to greet with other people that I enjoyed my company of. Which I am very lucky to have again. I again have people that I enjoy the company of, even though I don't get to spend that much time with them. You spoke with Sir Emmerich? I do not envy him his new position. Ishgard has chosen a new road, but one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yet, though her people may struggle from time to time, I know of none better than Sir Emmerich to lead the march of progress. As for us, there remains the small matter of ushering a new dawn into the shadow of inscrutable Asian machinations and the seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. Yay! There's more places we can take the airship from Ishgard, but that is completely pointless to us because we can teleport to literally anywhere that we want. Why would you ever take an airship when you can just port? These people become a bit more important now, and their importance dies quite fastly. And then they're important again for Shadowbringers. Fun. I actually kind of hate that about the divided story, because all of the little plot points that you see matter, but they get revisited like years later. By that point, you kind of completely forgot about them. So you're like, what? Thank you, Plahurs. Nay, you need not remain there. We shall rendezvous at the usual place. All is proceeding as expected then. Aye, there is naught to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse. How did she think that she was invisible? Yay, more mice! This way! Him again. It is of no moment. They will play their part and we will play ours. Untested grey mists give way to azure skies, man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song, but beneath shrouded brows, beyond the scope of light, shadow stirs. Lord, a horde? Don't mind if I do! Lord, the horde. Time to start a 3.4. It's a bit of a meandering from here on, like, it's a bit disjointed. There are plot points that are important, but I'm not looking forward to a lot of it. Okay, there we go. A new day dawns in Ishgard, and the House Vortem's Knight has tidings for you. Mistress Munchicus, you are come at most excellent time. An invitation from a truly prominent personage was delivered to the manor but a short while ago. Would that you had been present to receive it, but in any event. Sir Emeric de Burrell, Lord Speaker of the House of Lords, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, and Viscount of House Burrell, cordially invites Mistress Munchicus to dine with him at his estate. You seem surprised. The messenger assured me that his lord has broached the subject with you at an earlier date, when the arrangements for the peace conference were still being finalized. Of course, the intervening moons afforded little opportunity for leisure, but with the happy advancement of peace, displaying the Lord Commander sees no further cause to delay. What say you? I would, but I haven't the fuckiest what to wear. I shall gladly accept. I'm just going in with my armor. I am the adventurer after all, not the princess of the house. Indeed, who would not? You will forgive me as if I seem envious. Are we there yet? We have 2 more patches to go, Victor. Then we're gonna end Heavensward and like set it aside for a bit to just sit down like a good little puppy. I shall send word of your acceptance to Burrell Manor at once. When you are ready, pray report to Astrologicum. They will have someone escort you the rest of the way. Unfortunately, like I said before, the last two patches are a bit of a meandering mess. It should be faster than that. Each one is like a couple of hours. But it's gonna be a lot of running backwards and forwards with rather useless things, and then like short amount of useful things, and then a lot of useless things again, and then you're like, oh, why did that not get more screen time? I am so worried about my cat that he doesn't scratch that door, but he looks so comfy on top of it. I'm just like, do not move a paw. Do not move a paw. Kinda interesting how I have to go all the way over here and that they can't just like escort me from the manor. Greetings and well met, Mistress Munchicus. I have the honor and the privilege to serve as head steward of House Burrell, though admittedly our staff are somewhat smaller than those of other noble families, being countable on one hand. My lord will be overjoyed to hear that you have accepted his invitation. As you will soon see, we have spared no expense. I dare say a woman of action such as yourself enjoys nary a moment respite. Aye, the battlefield beckons even now, I am sure, but for this day we bid you lay down your burdens and raise a glass to peace and prosperity. Has a knight's house. And I really need to ship him off with somebody because it always like concerns me that, oh, you're such a nice person, yet you have nobody to live with.
To think the Moogles would prove such harsh taskmasters. Forgive me. I did not know you had suffered so in your quest for the horn.
So I wonder the level of wealth that they have if they're sparing no expenses, like a couple of
I must say,
salmons with a couple of buns.
Come as a welcome change from the arid reports which fill my days.
The pompous Poshkit started a new government, so you have a House of Lords and a House of Commons, so the peasantry now have a voice. Unfortunately, he got promoted to the top of the House of Lords, which he did not want to, meaning that he's a politician now. Which he hates.
Though I have lived in these lands my entire life, to hear you speak of them, there is much and more I have yet to see. Truly, yours was a marvelous journey.
Say, Immerich, have you ever wandered outside of Ishgard and Western Korthas? Because I do not think that you have. So you lived in all of these lands, but you have not been in all of these lands, I think. Why not join me on the next?
Well, truth be told, when I think back on the sweeping vistas of the churning mists, I do feel some slight pangs of wanderlust.
He is the servant of the highest ranking officer in the whole of Ishgard, Victor. He's probably proud.
Alas, much as I would like to accept your invitation, I fear my present duties with the House of Lords demand my undivided attention. Someday, perhaps. By your deeds, you have helped us to lay the foundation for lasting reform. The formation of the Republic is but the beginning, for it is not only our system of governance which must needs change. We, the people, must learn to let go of our hatreds and rise above our bloody past.
I honestly have no idea. A lot of his servants are pretty old, so there is a chance.
I only pray that I live long enough to see us achieve some measure of success, that I might know the lost did not die in vain. I can still see you there on the steps of faith, striding fearlessly towards the worm. If you could do that, who are we to balk at the challenges ahead?
You see, I do the fun bit, which is the fighting. You can do the politician
question of how
stuff.
best to strengthen ties with the other great nations of Eorzea has been debated at length in the Lords and Commons of late.
It's like, one of the issues with Stormblood is that there is a lot more politics. From both the Garlemand, just the attacking force, you get a lot of insight into how they're run, what their relationships are, and through half of those cutscenes are like, I don't give a shit, I'm not even at your side. This is like watching the Hitler's common room.
As you may imagine, maintaining stability during this period of historic upheaval is our paramount concern. Nevertheless, we are greatly indebted to the Alliance for their support during the Grand Melee, and it would be remiss of us not to repay their faith in kind. Of course, we owe you the greatest debt of all, and it is my hope that in extending our support to you and the Scions, we might also express our gratitude to our neighbors, nay, our fellow Eorzeans, whom we pray you will continue to protect. The Lords and Commons agree on very little, but not a soul in either house begrudges your order this offer of patronage. For all you have done and will do, we thank you.
Thanks for your thanks. I thank thee for thanking me. Now let's hope we don't die of this drink. Or it would have been the prime opportunity for somebody to poison us.
May I ask a personal question?
Do you find me pretty?
Is settled. What will you do? Not as a scion, I mean, but what do you want for yourself?
Aw, it would be so mean if they did do a patch like that. 2 hours on just debating. All of the players are like, let me out. But I can't do anything in this game unless I progress the story. What do you want from yourself? This is a video game, so I want to fight more baddies because
Lord
that is
Commander,
fun.
Pray forgive the interruption.
News from House Fulton.
An urgent message for the Warrior of Light. I was instructed to deliver it without delay. Master Thancred returned to the manor a short time ago, bearing an injured maiden. Master Leveilleur and Mistress Tataru are tending to her wounds, but they like not her chances. Respectfully, my lord, they have requested the Warrior of Light's immediate presence.
I am a warrior, not a white mage. Like, I can't heal anyone that you bring to me. I can axe their head off. That's what I'm good at, but I don't think that it's an execution that you want.
Ending marks a new beginning.
Who the hell is talking now? That's... That's not the old man of
From
Fort Toms.
tragedy and sacrifice, we rise to greet a new dawn. As did she.
Just invite me for the amputations. I'll bring my axe.
Only to be drawn onto another battlefield. Another cause. As if by fate.
Also, by the way, I did install Gothic and I installed all of the patches. I haven't tried running it yet, though. But that's, like, done, so... Fingers crossed it runs fine, otherwise I might need to use compatibility modes or in worst case scenario, a virtual machine, which is not a very nice thing to record, but should run. It's not that old. Windows 10 is surprisingly quite compatible with a lot of things.
Yes.
Is that...
Alisaie?
Alisaie, Alphinaud's twin sister. She ran afoul of the Warriors of Darkness. I had been tracking them since the ceremony at Falcon's Nest. Little did I know I was not the only one. Evidently, she had learned of their activities and attempted to shadow them on her own. Poorly.
Well, hopefully. The only game that I haven't managed to run on a modern system was the old version of Fable. For some reason, it just really hated my computer. I have lost the ability to run some other games previous time, like The Sims 1. I couldn't have run previously, but on Windows 10 I can run, but it runs with a visual bug of you cannot tab out. Cannot. But it still runs.
I rescued her in the Twelveswood, and together we fled north. But though I made every effort to cover our tracks, they caught up with us on the Ishgardian border. And in the ensuing struggle, Alisaie took an arrow to the shoulder. It was only after we had made good our escape that I realized it was poisoned.
Not very good, that. Poison bad.
Thank you for coming so quickly. And you, Sir Emmerich.
Think nothing of it. How is she?
We have done all we can for now. Although the immediate danger has passed, the poison yet lingers in her blood. We came to Eorzea together, hoping to bring salvation to the realm our grandfather gave his life to protect. But when confronted with the bitter realities of its politics and its petty powermongers, she was driven to anger and to doubt.
Yeah, some games I can only run in windowed mode, which is a bit annoying because you get like a window this big. It's like, it's not made for like regular normal resolutions. I have a 1080p monitor, okay? So you have like a window that takes like 1/10 of my screen and I go, okay, I will try and work with this.
She refused to become embroiled in what she termed Eorzea's squabbles and distance herself from the Scions. Though she remained hopeful of a brighter future, she would walk her own path. Would that it had not been so perilous.
I was there for all those cutscenes, you know?
She's as dedicated as any Scion to the salvation of Eorzea. But more than that, she is my sister. To be reunited with her, only to lose her forever. Gods, even to speak the words.
There, boy, you're living through a fantasy world that's sort of medieval, meaning most of your people will die from the plague anyway, so you should kind of get used to that.
Take heart, Master Alphino. She will be attended by our most skilled chirurgeons.
But not healers. Healers were reserved for Estinian. It's back to chirurgeons.
Bear Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary at once. Apprise Captain Whitecape of the situation, and inform him that she is to be treated as my personal charge.
In my mind, the difference between chirurgeon and a healer is that healer heals with magic, therefore sounds a lot more efficient. Chirurgeon heals with like concoctions and surgical intervention, which sounds a lot less efficient. Hello!
Don't go. Please, come closer.
All of us? Or just your brother? Or May? Or Tataru? Which one? Emmerich? Was it Emmerich?
The warriors of darkness are in league with the Ascians. Slaughtering the primals is but the first step in their plan.
I think that the kind of people that they were going for would have not fit those accents. Hence why they gave that, you know, thick accent to that one peasant girl.
They make for Zelfatol to bring about Garuda's summoning and to kill her.
Though, fun fact, they seem to be replacing main characters' voice actors every expansion, and you sorta kinda can tell sometimes.
You must stop them.
Your eyeballs are yellow. I would be worried about that. I'll stop whatever the hell kind of sentence you just strung up. You go and get healed.
Master Thancred, I would ask that you accompany Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary. Your knowledge of her injuries may well prove useful in determining her treatment.
Of course.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Like, that is not good. But she is poisoned, so... Probably what you would be suffering with high doses of poison that are not immediately lethal. Surely they won't let her... Yes, I know. We must trust in Captain Whitescape and his chirurgeons. Did they not bring Estinian back from the very brink of death? So what... was it chirurgeons or was it healers? I mean, make a choice. I am uncomfortably reminded of how he mocked me for praying at his bedside for days on end. What say you, my friend? Shall we turn our attention to the matter whose conclusion was yet have the power to influence? Yes, we should turn our matter to any kind of fight that we can, for that would do a lot more good than standing over here. Standing over here does a lot less good than you would think. It actually doesn't do anything. So the Warriors of Darkness and the Ascians are conspiring to bring about Garuda's summoning that they might put her to the sword. Then when we first encountered them in Loth Athgath, when they were confronting Ravana, gods, has this been their aim all along? What do you intend to do, Master Alpinode? There is much and more I do not understand, but I know this. A primal summoning cannot be ignored. Alice risked her life to uncover this plot, and we squander her gift at our peril. Magnanimous, will you accompany me to Zefaltol and help me stop the Exile's ritual? I will accompany you to whatever kind of weird X place that you just told me. Given that Ishgard shares a border with the Exile homeland, we have a vested interest in the outcome of this ritual. We have been willing to suffer the basement's intrusions into Korthan lands to a point, but summoning of Primal is an escalation we cannot abide. You shall have our fastest airship, Master Zolf. Note, the mountains of Zapato are not easily traversed, and this endeavor demands all haste. The gesture is most appreciated, Sir Emmerich, but I fear an ethereal approach is destined to fail. This is their homeland, after all, and exactly the dribbles are not to be underestimated. We will instead go and take that aetheryte and just travel to wherever is convenient for us, okay? No, experience tells me that the only conceivable approach is by land. I believe it would be wiser to cross the Zepatol by the way of mountain past east of Camp Dragonhead. In that case, I shall send instructions for a contingent of the camp's knight to be placed at your disposal. They will secure your safe passage through the mountains and escort you thence to Zepatol. Though my men are unqualified to confront the primal, they are more than capable of contending with Ixal. We should be glad of their assistance, Lord Edgemond. Can we go now? In the event Mistress Alize regains consciousness, we will share with you any additional information she may provide. May the Fury watch over and keep you safe. Then let us be off. We can procure any additional supplies we require in Camp Dragonhead. I do not really want to talk about supplies procurement. That sounds awfully boring. I want to go and do a thing. That is what the Warrior of Light is just good at going and doing things. And NPCs should remember that. I am not good at fetching fish or listening to your political dribble or building you a town. I am good with going and doing things. And that should be the only thing you task me with. Got it? Have you everything you require then? Excellent. The entrance to the pass is north of Natalan and due east of Camp Dragonhead. Though it is normally guarded by a scarce of Ixali warriors, I have been informed the House Fortress Knights have already dispatched them. The enemy's gate lies open. We need walkthrough. I am, slightly reminded of a dungeon that has a lot of Ixali things. Trying to remember whether we go to this one now or not. We might do. Maybe. I think. Thoughts are hard. Okay. Ah, you're all level 37. Pfft, weaklings. As you can see, the gate is yours, but be advised that our scouts are reporting increased activity around the first mountains. Simply put, they are up to something and don't want anyone interfering. We stand ready to escort you to Zepatol and aid you as we see fit. Given the numbers we are like to encounter, a two-pronged approach may be best. While the knights and I feign a larger attack to draw the Ixali's attention, I suggest you and yours attempt to slip past their defenses and locate the site of the summoning ritual. If the gods are good, you should only have to deal with some few patrols, but if they are not, you may be forced to do battle with the Warriors of Darkness. Aha! I was right! It is a dungeon. So, before any long encounters like the dungeons, a be right back for the toilet is always recommended. So, be right back. Where's my screen? There it is. feel like I need to get a Be Right Back screen music at some point. Okay. Ah, that wasn't a very long wait. The power of being a tank! Doesn't work everywhere, but works in most places. And that's what matters. I sometimes feel that they're trying to just write in some story in order to make excuses to make dungeons. And honestly, quite more often than not, there happens sayings from the main developer of like, we have something like 70 dungeons in this game. Is it not enough for you folks yet? Yeah, it is. It is a 4-person dungeon. And obviously people will always answer with, no, there's never enough dungeons. What are you talking about? Dungeons are like what makes MMOs great. So you go and give us the dungeon. All the dungeons. At all times. For dungeon's sake. And they're like, but there's already too many dungeons in the game, and everybody's like, there's no such thing. Yeah, unfortunately story dungeons are like meant to be used for story purposes, so they're normally very snooze-festy. You can like fall asleep and it will still be okay for the most part. There are a tiny teeny bit of exceptions. The Vault, which is a level 58 dungeon, could be a bit of an exception, especially if you're the healer, because healing in there is significantly harder than everywhere else. And the same for a level 69 dungeon. Was it level 69? It was Dama Castle. And once again, the healing there is a bit harder than anywhere else. I did like some PvPing in this game, mostly for mounts and stuff. I don't hate it, but it's very few people are kind of passionate about it, and everybody just made the decision that this is not the MMO to PvP in. Was that in World of Warcraft? Because I heard my husband say that there were like 48-hour battlegrounds. Or longer. So you would just like go away and then come back and you're like, we're still doing this then? Yeah, he remembers those times very fondly. I did Alterac Valley and stuff with him a few times after that has changed. But by the time we were doing it, the most things that were doing it were just bots, which was a shame. So we would just have a bunch of bots from both teams run to the middle and kind of circle around each other, which was very interesting to view. Like, we have arrived at this place, what now? I don't know, my AI does not tell me. Try and see if we can... No, we cannot. We cannot end this ass because this ass will put down air stones. I was like, come on, we should be able to just end it now. Here's the very fun contradiction though. Everybody likes dungeons, wants more of them. Nobody likes long dungeons. The shorter the dungeon that they can get through faster, the better. Hence why, when in dungeons, you pull absolutely everything until you can no longer pull. Unfortunately, developers put down bridges. I'm like, nope, this is a controlled pull, this is as far as it will go. Most of the time what you would do though is you would pull as much as you can. And if your healer can't handle it, you will insult your healer and leave the dungeon. Welcome to player interactions. They're the best. So once I arrived in a dungeon in progress and it was a healer that was still typing to the tank that has just left. And they were like, come on dude, you should look at my gear, I can't do these kind of pulls. And the tank was like, ah, bad healer, goodbye. There we go, that's her key. Interestingly, if you ever run these kind of dungeons with non-player characters, because a lot of them you cannot run them all, but up until level 60 you can. All of the things that go drops a key, just like stop existing. Like all of the doors that are automatically unlocked once you cleared a specific amount of enemies. Probably because non-player characters cannot pick up the keys and it thinks that maybe you're a bit too dumb to do it. So nice to have a quick and solid group for once. I take that as praise. Like yesterday when I raid went south, a lot of people like, oh, this and this person is only raid logging and they're causing some wipes and that's bad, and people are like, and I was like, I'm only raid logging too, and they're like, you have a lot of experience in this game though, and I'm like, yeah, actually I do. So when I'm running these dungeons as a new person, I know them very well. Get yourself, in front of a barrier that I just failed to do. No, I don't actually show any grinding. I'm just doing the story. But on my main character, all there is to do pretty much is just grind whatever I would want to have for the expansion, which to me is all classes at 70, so that's what I'm trying to do. But at the same time, I'm just not very diligent at that. Because for the last week, I haven't been really logging in onto my main character. I was mostly playing Tropical and stuff. Which is once again why I said I am also only raid logging right now, meaning logging in every Wednesday to spend some time with my guild. Whoop whoop! Okay, that way. That way, for that is where the treasure coffer is. That is how I know. And that's the last boss over there. I find it very unique that this MMO, before you even get to the end game, you just have an ever-increasing amount of hundreds of hours that you need to get through from the main storyline. Ah, yay! That balloon can actually actively go away, which isn't very nice. Because that means that then you have to wait for the balloon to come back. Okay, balloon. Balloon. Good. Good balloon. Other balloon. Other balloon. No! But balloon! Balloon's going away! Now I have to wait for it to come back. Oh. I hate when that happens. That this place doesn't actually look that bleak because of all that weird green tinge. Like, yeah, sure, the mountain looks very bleak, but the skyline doesn't. Oh, no you don't. You don't focus on my teammates, only I focus on my teammates. There were points in the spring that were really hot. There were like 2 weeks. Like February and early March, when it was like 20 degrees. And now there's like 5 degrees outside, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm like, I think that the weather got confused. I kind of forget if we get to fight Garuda, but it seems not. Quite interesting though that he can just summon Garuda whenever he feels like it. Thought that, you know, summoning Garuda was supposed to be a big deal, but apparently not. Apparently you're just like, whoop, and Garuda goes. Stop summoning Garuda, you birdman! Takes me out of just beating you up. It's nice and everything for the reckoning to come, but we're a bit busy in here. Can it come again some other day, please? Hooray! The dark man disappears into a poof! Anything pretty? I mean, that's kind of cute, but it's not like I'm gonna be using it, so I'm just gonna let them have it.
Thank the gods! What happened?
I killed some birdman that can summon Garuda on his whim for reasons.
So they were unable to see the ritual to its completion. Then Garuda is no longer a threat, and whatever the Ascians and the Warriors of Darkness were planning has come to naught.
If that's what you like to think, that's
the Knights
okay.
have secured our path to safety.
Well, well. What do we have here?
You'd better not have killed the primal without us.
Or what? Are you gonna fight me? Okay, bring it on, fight me. All of you fight me. I think my gear's better than all of yous.
You!
Wait, I know you. Still walking, I see. I could have sworn my aim was true.
Just what is your game? Leading us a long way so these fools could step in and claim our prize?
Oh my god, that's Yuriandre.
Let's not make hasty accusations. By the look of things, the ritual was proceeding as planned. We arrived at the appointed hour. It was they who erred.
It is hopeless. We cannot face them all.
Do mine ears deceive? A boy! So that's the way of it. Twins! You had me worried for a moment there. Know that I will happily make it quicker for you. If you just stand still.
That is Yuriandre, the dude that normally skulks in the Waking Sands.
We wouldn't want to upset the man in white with any unnecessary bloodshed now, would we?
And it's funny because I recognized him from the Shadowbringers trailer where he decides to be an astrologian and dons this garment that looks really, really female. Like, he has just gone transgender, and then I was like, that is him!
You've been awfully busy since we were kind enough to spare your lives.
It is indeed a guy in a dress.
While you were idly consorting with the Asians, you mean? 7 hells! What could you possibly hope to achieve?
Should I explain it to you? Very well. Consider it a reward of sorts for beating us here.
Will you give me XP as well? I like that.
You know the tale of Hydaelyn and Zodiac, I take it? Of the Great Sundering and the reflections it created?
Across 10 and 3 they were divided. Reflections of the source, each possessed of shards of light and dark.
Just so. One of those reflections, the one nearest to the source, is our home. And we were the heroes blessed with her light. But not all worlds hold light and dark in equal measure. In ours, the power of light was greater by far. So the Asians, who once threatened our home, were no match. And they fell before us, one after another, till none were left. Victory, we thought. And then came the light. A flood of pure, blinding radiance, annihilating shadow and color and life itself. Ere long, it will consume our world, leaving naught in its wake but blank perfection.
That cannot be. Do you honestly expect us to believe such a story?
Light and dark must be in balance, dear Alpha Node. Too much of any and bad things happen.
Believe what you like. But it has happened before, on a world far removed from ours. The 13th, which was swallowed by the dark and transformed into what you call the Void. Unchallenged light would condemn us to a similar fate. And so we joined hands with our former enemies, and with their aid came here, to the source. For there is but one way to restore the balance and save our home. The Ardor. Calamitous destruction with the power to break down the barriers between planes and see our worlds rejoined.
You would doom our world to save your own? What would even become of us? Of you?
Enough. I tire of talking.
We would all die. But there would be one world.
You know what is at stake. We are prepared to do whatever it takes. Are you?
Hello!
If there is aught you would say, say it. Otherwise, begone. You have no friends here.
But that is Urianger. That is literally Urianger. I don't see how you don't see that. Are you blind? We could have been playing an Edge Teen. We could have been playing a Dark Knight. It's the edgiest of all classes. We call it the Edge Knight. All things considered, we should be grateful to have survived the encounter. Do you think it can be true that to save their world, they must bring ruin to ours? No, it matters not. Such wanton destruction is beyond justification. Whatever the reasons, they must be stopped. The sacrifice, the loss, it ends here. I forgot to eat my orchestrion scrolls. But I also need to eat my wind-up Emmerich because I want to be creepy and be able to summon a tiny miniature of Emmerich whenever I go. Forgive me, this is neither the time nor the place for idle introspection. The Knights can apprise Lord Edgemont of our success and we the Lord Commander. More importantly, I shall like to see if my sister's condition has improved. You may take a moment for yourself if you wish. I will be at the congregation. In order to see my quest log, I need to lift my cat's foot. I wonder just how visible that is on... Yeah, hello. That's my cat's foot. In my hand. He's asleep. With one foot that's just kind of dangly right in front of like good 1/3 of my screen. Good baby. Good baby cat. It brings me joy to see you safely return to us, Magnanimous. What news from Zeppotl? Oh god, I just realized. I did a lot of things today. I went out to sort like my bank out and I got that done. And then I went out to like sort out my doctor's appointments. I think I'm doing fuck all next week. Unless of course UK's government goes there is not enough proof that you have lived in here for 5 years, then that's gonna be a very big headache. Then we're not too late. On behalf of Ishgard, I offer you my deepest thanks. As for we who remained behind, Mistress Ishtola has been tending to Mistress Eorzea in your absence, and I am pleased to report that she has regained consciousness. I imagine you have many questions, especially given your recent encounter with the Warriors of Darkness. I know I do. Come on, let me show you to her room. Do not worry, her condition is much improved. She is a resilient one, much like her brother. Yay!
How are you feeling?
He's alive!
Well enough, brother. Thanks to the kindness of our hosts. They told me you had departed for Zelfatol while I was still abed. I slept much better knowing that. Thank you.
I take it your mission was a success.
Yeah! We stopped Garuda again. And you kind of do that sometimes.
As if we needed any further confirmation that they are in league with the Ascians. But to save another world? I think not.
What do you think not about? Like, no saving other worlds, only this one.
I too thought his story fanciful at first. But it is possible there may be a kernel of truth in all of this. At the very least, none of his claims contradict the word's account.
You were following these people, Alice. Why?
To the shoe! Oh my god! I mean, she's shorter than my boot.
During my travels, I had oft enjoyed tales of the Scions and their exploits. But after a time, I began to hear whispers of a gifted and theretofore unknown band of adventurers. Adventurers who had supposedly sworn to travel the realm slaying primals in the Scion's stead.
So you were like, I must stop them from doing good.
Darkness. And in the course of investigating these rumors, you stumbled upon the Ascians' involvement.
Yes, exactly.
Forgive me, but if these warriors of darkness mean to bring about another calamity, to what end do they hunt primals?
To get stronger, Cookie?
To prompt an escalation. To deepen the beast tribe's feelings of helplessness and despair, and thereby drive them to summon ever more powerful gods. And
I was nearly right, Cookie.
These events do not occur in isolation. With their patron deities being slain left and right, the news of man's victory over Nidhogg must surely have sown panic in the minds of the beastmen. 'Tis no wonder they wish to defend themselves.
Nidhogg needed to die, Cookie.
Power answered with greater power. Death with more death. A vicious cycle fueled by fear and hatred.
Indeed. The Ascians sow discord and desperation, and the warriors of darkness reap the harvest. And so it continues. Yet that is not the extent of their ambitions. The Ascian himself observed that once the powerless realize that the old gods have failed them, they will have little recourse but to look to a new one.
We cannot let that happen.
Do you think they will worship warriors of darkness, or do you think they're just gonna make up a new god? How do you do that? How do you make up a god?
But Alice and I have uncovered evidence that the Ascians have been manipulating certain parties to ensure that a constant stream of crystals flows into the hands of the beast tribes.
That's nice of them. I wish I had some hand cream.
If we sever these supply lines, we should at least be able to slow the escalation.
Bit of an interesting information. In the first, the shard that these warriors of darkness are from, and the main theme of the newest expansion, Lalafils are called dwarves.
Agreed. Kral and I shall journey to Zelphatol and learn what we can of the Ixal's source.
They do have this very weird system where if you believe in anything enough and have enough crystals, you can summon it, whatever it is. So you could summon the Marshmallow Man, but you need somebody that fully believes in it. Which is why you can't just like go, okay, how about I want my god to be a giant fish, and these are all the abilities that it's gonna have. Because you need somebody with a twisted enough mind to go, yeah, I full-heartedly believe that this thing is real, and I'm gonna pray to it, and I'm gonna use the crystals to summon it. You can't just like summon it unless you believe in it, which is why that's the question. How do you make a god?
Then I, for my part, pledge to lead a similar investigation into the origin of the Nath supply.
Sir Emmerich?
As a member of the Eorzean Alliance, Ishgard is honor-bound to play an active role in maintaining the security of the realm. You might also say that I have some personal motivation, given the Ascian's dealings with my father. However, I make no secret of the fact that my knowledge of primal beings is scant at best. As such, I should be most grateful if one of your order were to assist me.
Step 1. Do not insult the beastmen, and do not just go into their territory and start killing them, because they're gonna start summoning primals. That is the thing you do not do.
Allow me, Sir Emmerich. I have dealt with the Nath before.
Yeah, you'll do fine. I mean, you got some outfits of them. You just wandered them to their camp being kinda nude and were like, give clothes.
In his dedication to the study of primal beings, I should be surprised if he could not tell us something of value.
You mean the Eorzea that was just standing among the warriors of darkness?
Brother. And before you think to refuse, know that I am not the girl I once was. I shall not be a burden. You have my word.
But Alize, you... You are more than welcome. After all, it was you who set us upon this path.
Wait a minute. I'm afraid I can't allow you to leave just yet. Not until you try on the new outfit I prepared for you.
I do love Tataru for just making countless new outfits. She makes good ones. It's like your personal tailor. Okay, with the twins, right? The girl has a tiny red bow tie at the end of her hair. And all Lalafels actually share so much customization options that you can make a trap, quite literally. So if you can't tell them apart, that is okay. It was good of you to accompany my sister on her forays into the coils. The knowledge that you were with her did much to put my mind at rest. Though I know not what she found at the end of her search, neither do we, for we still haven't finished the last coil. Dex and Sinis did inform me that she had taken to the road on her own, apparently on a journey of self-discovery. And what came of that, I can only speculate. I am glad our paths crossed regardless. My apologies for keeping you waiting. This is the first time that she gets an outfit that differentiates her from her brother. I guess the developers were like, okay, the bow tie is not enough. So she gets like a little skirt thing. Now you can tell that she's a girl, for she's wearing a little skirt thing. Right then, shall we be off? Tataru never ceases to impress, though for a moment I feared she might furnish you with an identical outfit. Praise the 12, she did not. Mother and father were rather too fond of making us wear matching clothes. Do you remember that time at the studio when the girl of yours crept on behind me in the hall and whispered? Oh yeah, that would be Uriange. You just saw him in the cutscene, like, you know, the whole white mage outfit? That's very girly. A lot of healing outfits have skirts. Some of them even have, like, boob templates. And that armor sometimes goes on men. And it looks really weird, because you have, like, a little cutout in here that's just like, oh yeah, to accentuate your breasts. But they obviously have no breasts, because they're men. So they look very feminine. Sister, please, she was not my... Can we not have this conversation in front of the Warrior of Light? So be it, another time perhaps. I should thank you again for your assistance with my expeditions, Magnanimous. Though we left matters somewhat unfinished, I am nevertheless prepared to focus on the task at hand and aid you to the fullest extent of my ability. As you helped me to brave the coils, too I will help you to defeat the Warriors of Darkness. A pleasure to have you with us. Ah, yeah. True, I don't think that there's anything that short that a male character can equip, but I'm not too sure. They can equip the bunny outfit, and the bunny outfit's very revealing, but I think it comes with just the underwear and not a skirt. New garments aside, I must say that you seem different, more resolute than when we last met. You have the look of a woman who is ready to fight for the future of Eorzea. To the extent of my abilities, perhaps, but I have no delusions of grandeur, nor will I pretend to have found myself or any such thing. I am here today because I would regret it if I weren't, that is all. Fair enough, let us depart for the Waking Sands then, and see if Urianger can be of assistance. Will you get me to Waking Sands? Because if you will, this will be very nice of you. Ah! No, I'm still in Ishgard. God damn you. I need to use my own teleportation magic to go to Horizon, which is like a bit further down the road, and then I need to run for like whole 10 seconds to get to where I need to go. I don't know how the hell they could not tell apart the fact that Urianger was walking with the Warriors of Darkness. He is not that hard to tell apart. Okay, maybe all elves look the same to them, but they're not the same. It's very racist. I mean, the whole expansion of Heavensward was just about pretty boy elves. Should have learned to tell the difference by now. I mean, you wouldn't mix him up with a Stynian, would you? That would be quite the stretch, even without the helmet. You see, a Stynian has a lot longer hair. And his face is a lot more pleasant. And he doesn't look as gay. And he would not be caught in a dress. I guarantee you. Ah, the music stopped. It heard my rage about men in skirts and was like, oh nope, I am out of here. I am taking no part in this. Ah, the music's back. For a second. Urianger, apologies for calling upon you unannounced. Why, Master Alpenut, would that the scholar had seen fit to grant me knowledge of thy coming. What bringeth thee and thine here this day? The Warriors of Darkness have returned. Pray allow us to explain. I think he knows. I too have heard tales in recent days of primal beings rising up only to be cast down by forces unknown. Although, as thou didst observe, the serveth but to spur the beast tribes to pursue their goals with redoubled fever. We have two objectives at this time, to identify and remove the source of the beast tribe's crystals and to take direct action to prevent any further summoning rituals from reaching completion. Kilts are pretty comfy, aren't they? Never worn one, but that seems the kind of, you know, skirt that isn't very constraining. The second is easier said than done, of course. While we were fortunate enough to learn of the Ixal's plans before they came to fruition, shall be surprised if the Warriors of Darkness and the Ascians did not have similar designs elsewhere of which we have no knowledge. Though went wise to come hither, for this very day did I receive tidings most troubling from across the Strait of Merithor. Ogomora stirreth, and there are whispers that Lord of Crags neareth his return. Mere rumors, Mark, though, but in light of thine own discoveries, thou canst ill afford to turn a deaf ear to the claims. Well, do you think they have underwear? Like, underwear is quite a recent thing. If they're trying to pretend to be medieval, they would not have any underwear. So I'm pretty sure that if I undressed my character, I would see underwear, because this game is like, no, you cannot see her cooch, that would be 18+. You can kill things, but you cannot see cooches. We must ascertain the truth of the matter for ourselves. Let us consult with the Maelstrom forces stationed at Camp Overlook, Magnanimous. Okay, this is the part that I remember of patch 3.4 the most. We're about to run around pointlessly trying to get like this tiny little goblin child to comply. Thank you for your counsel, Urianji. Pray for us, shall you learn aught else? I shall. And she's like, You look like something. If I may, brother, Urianji, is there anything else you would like to say? She can see it. She can see it. Alisei. If not, then never mind. I only ask because you're normally rather more verbose. Nothing to add? Very well. Ere we depart, I wish to make a request. The Warriors of Darkness spoke of how the Ardor had the power to break down the barriers between planes, that our worlds might be rejoined. I would ask you to research this for us. Being nowhere near as well read as you, I am sure I wouldn't know where to begin. That said, I have heard the tale of a promising tome. The Garn Oracles. Mayhap you could start there. She's a small elven... I don't understand how elves grow, okay? They started the game being 16 years old. You would think that they would be at the full height then, yeah? But no. But at the same time, the passage of time is actually happening while we play through the expansions. Like Alpinote previously said, I spent days next to Estinian's bed. To us that was mere seconds, for him it was actual days. Meaning we can estimate that years have gone by. Years! And they're still the exact same height. They might be legal now, yet they still look like children. By thy leave. Camp Overlook, was it? Very well. You would think that they would just like continuously stretch them every expansion, but then it would be very noticeable because you would start the next expansion and poop! Alpinote has grown a foot. And you're like, oh my, Alpinote, and he's like, yeah, that's quite a change, isn't it? They look like they're 10 or 11 to me. They look really young. They do not resemble adult features whatsoever, but they call each other like man and woman. And you're like, you're not the woman of Eorzea, you're the child of Eorzea. There is a difference. Seven hells. At this rate, I'll have to appeal to Maelstrom Command for reinforcements. Whatever it is, we don't want any. Do I look like a cookie scout or something? Do you think I came here to sell biscuits? Well, fancy that. Just when my kobold problems look like coming to a head, the signs of the Seventh Dawn turn up, itching to pitch in. Bloody brilliant timing, it is what it is. Right then, let's get to it. Wait. He looks a lot like the machinist trainer, so I was like, do you have a gun on you? Cannot see of any weapon of any kind on you. This is fairly weird. I am pretty sure that you're supposed to be armed. So our friendly neighbors in the Agamoro have got much more aggressive as of late, just as you said. Matter of fact, our scouts spotted One sniffing about the stores just now, likely looking to make off with an armful of crystals. I'll be damned if I'm about to let that happen. Lend a hand and help us search the camp for the little bugger, won't you? Play hide and seek! Okay. Play hide and seek many times, actually. Whatever you just said, I am very sorry for skipping it. A kobold in the camp, you say? That would appear to cooperate with Eorzea's information, yes, but to be reckless as to infiltrate a Maelstrom camp and draw attention to their efforts is passing as strange. Well, will be time to think on this later. For the present, we must do everything in our power to prevent Titan summoning, and that means finding and questioning this kobold. This kobold that we're about to leave eternally scarred. And I mean it. And I feel really bad for him. Really bad. I think I can afford to stream for another half an hour. I think that is safe to do. My dinner should not take that long to make today. There we go. Koboldling! Tiny kobold. Gasp! And he runs. But you see, tomorrow's my husband's day off, so I will not be streaming. But I'm kind of hoping to just finish the whole storyline on Saturday. That would be grand. I am having spaghetti with meatballs. They're very easy to make, for I just need to throw in tomato sauce and an onion on top of that, and that will be done. Stay back! Away! Far back! I'm not a... God, it's no use. Pointless, hopeless, no use. I feel really bad for this creature because I know what is gonna happen to him eventually. The story feels bad for him too, so it is okay. But I do not much enjoy having to run around this camp looking for a tiny little creature kobold thing. I buy pre-packaged one, like posadas. It's more like tomato puree, but it works fairly well in my opinion. Sometimes I make like really fancy dishes, like I made pretty good ramen last week and my husband requested it this week as well. But other days I do lazy food like that. Just buy tomato puree and throw in an onion and it will be good enough. Please don't hurt me. I only wish to talk. Yes, yes, just talk. Gah! Then stop. Stop running and actually talk. I am the one thing in this camp that will likely not kill you. I bet if you run into any like limps and laments and they will just be like, pew! This was a stupid plan, stupid, stupid, stupid. But if I tell no one, then everyone will. Ah, she found me again. What to do, what to do, what to do? I come in peace, only to talk, speak, say, talk. So please, please, do not hurt me. So this is our Willy Kobold infiltrator, is it? No wonder the soldiers were on the edge. He could very well give one a bruised knee. Oh, I need to see my chat. Wait. Let me drag this. Sometimes went to a pizza restaurant that was really the best in the whole town. The pizza itself was really good and the sauce was so amazing. I've been to Italy to eat Italian pizza and I had like regular pizza. My preference for pizza is the Lithuanian pizza. Because it's just hard to explain. It's like the English use a lot more cheese on theirs and a lot more bread, and I don't really like that. Domino's make quite great, really, really flat pizza. like really thin crusted. It's almost like paper. I like that. But Italian pizza, it didn't taste like a pizza. Italians make more like pasta, but on a pizza bun. That sounds really weird, but they essentially do not use like tomato sauce. They do use pure puree. And they use things like olive oil, and it tends to be very different. Ah, we got him! Fine work, science! So, little one, thought you could sneak into my camp, did you? Plotting to steal my crystals, were you? No, I came to talk, to ask for help. But when your soldiers saw me, they drew their weapons and shouted, and I... Now, let us take a deep breath and discuss this like civilized individuals. What is your name, child? Pigman Gabu of the 620th Order. At least I will be a pigman one day. Well met, Gabu. I am Alpinode and this is my sister Alize. Ah, too much cheese makes you feel ill. There is a thing as too much cheese. Magnanimous, the woman who found you is our friend, and now that you know our names, we can be friends too. Now, Commander Bloin here thinks you wanted to take his crystals, Gabu. But you said you came here for help. Why to us and not to your own people? What happened, Gabu? Can you tell us? I am, No one is going to hurt you, alright? Not while we're here, I promise. The Patriarch, the Patriarch is going to summon the Great Father again, and you have to stop him. Beat him, fight him, stop him. Gabu's parents said that they didn't want it, along with many others, but the Patriarch wouldn't listen. He was so angry, raging, fuming, angry. He said that if they didn't have iron in their hearts, they would serve as coke for the furnace. And then the guards took my parents and the others away, and I haven't seen any of them since. Coke for the furnace? I did not want to believe it, but I have heard tales of foci fashioned from the bones of beastmen, which worshippers use in their rituals, hoping to summon more powerful incantations of their gods. By the 12, that is sickening. And that is my fault. Phone number Googles. I bet I know who that was, for I have gotten an email, but... Come on. Okay. Yeah. I do know. It's once again one of those will pay you £500 if you know somebody that's sufficiently qualified. It's like, fuck you! By the 12, that is sickening. No one listens to Gabu, no matter how much he cries, pleads, begs, cries. They do not listen, only talk about punishing the overdwellers and praising the Great Father. Gabu loves the Great Father, but he loves his parents too, so please help Gabu stop the Patriarch and save his parents. Commander, advise Maelstrom Command that Titan summoning is imminent. Should the worst come to worst, we will require their support. Time being of the essence, we three will attempt to infiltrate the Kobold stronghold, secure their crystals, and free the prisoners. Well, if you're sure, you'll forgive me if I don't seem optimistic. We'll make ready just in case. I have faith that we may yet stop the ritual. we would surely have detected the associated etheric disturbance that Titan manifested already. Hello, Narba. But I cannot speak for the prisoners. 12 have mercy. They would even contemplate sacrificing their own flesh and blood, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. Time is of the essence. We must see what else Gabu knows and formulate a plan without further delay. You did a thing. I heard Great Father Titan loves crystals. Cherishes Covet's loves them, and if we gather enough, he will return. That's why the Patriarch told everyone to go forth and gather them. So I was thinking, if we take all the crystals away, maybe the Great Father won't come. Very good, Gabu. I was just thinking the same thing. Do you know where the crystals are stored? Was it Company of Heroes 2? Oh, I wonder if that will work actually, just like putting in ketchup into the sauce. I once made a sauce out of tomato soup. Now that is very interesting because it is very, very close. Very close to like your regular tomato, you know, stuff. You just need to offset the sweetness of it. Among others. Very good, Gabu. I was, yeah, okay. I know. Oh, 7 spots each defended by a different order. Gabu wanted to steal them, but he was too afraid to go alone. Yes, too afraid to go alone. But together we can take them away and hide them. Come, Gabu will lead you to the first cache. What kind of others? Oh, don't do that! That isn't fair! You're not allowed to do unfair things. So I'm very interested what you got for yourself. I wanted to ask Fizzle, can we like play some Company of Heroes 2 today? But I don't know will he be up for it. But he's not home yet. Ooh. Oh! Thank you. I just saw it. That's nice. I was trying to get the developers to give me a free key of Keymailer, but they haven't done so. Okay, the first cache. Quickly! Do you have them all? Good, lead on, Gabu. This way. I still have like 4 extra keys to review. Plus, I think I will do a short review on this one too. So at some point I will be uploading just a week of short reviews of games. Which give me the most views, which is nice, but then sad when the views end. Okay, to cache number 2. Time is short. If you have the crystals, we should move on to the next cache. Did you hear me, brother? Brother! Hi, it's just that... I'm quite certain the crate once bore Ishgardian seals. Someone took great pains to remove all traces, but enough remains to make out a pattern. See for yourself. I struggle to imagine kobolds traveling to Worthus to obtain the crystals, much less bothering to conceal their origins. I suspect these crystals were smuggled into Wilbrand by another party, most likely a pawn of the Asians, as Tancred speculated. Don't understand. Who are the Asians? Did they worship the Great Father Titan too? Never mind about that. As Alice said, we do not have a lot of time. Can you lead us to the next cache, Gabu? Yes, of course. Gabu knows the way. This next one is the last, and it's very large, very big, very huge, very large. thought you said 7. We're on 2. 3 is not 7. Learn to count. Do not scratch the door, cat. Ah, I see somebody else was watching that cutscene too. So you can cast about for a time. You see no sign of the crystals. Confounded. What about you, Magnanimous? Any luck? Nothing, 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 but this cannot be. Gabu saw them. Spied spotted saw. Think, brother, think. They must have moved them. Yes, the question is where to and why. Within Agamoro, where they summoned Titan once before and mean to do so again. It is the only explanation. What about Mother and Father and the others? We have to help them. And we will, Gabu. We will. Stay calm. We have time. They have yet to call for the remaining crates. Yes, if they had, then they would have found the other crates empty and sounded the alarm. Nevertheless, I believe the time for stealth has passed. We must breathe the Neville and seize the remaining crystals. There is no other way to prevent the Titan summoning. But first, give me your crystals, that I might deliver them onto the Commander Balazin's custody. We dare not take them into the bowels of the mountain. You carry all of the magic crystals. And actually, this is where we're gonna stop the stream because my husband unexpectedly came home early. So I am gonna continue this on a Saturday, maybe even earlier than normal. Thank you for watching.